We've taught women they can get whatever they want by lying. Taught women that men owe them because they exist. We owe women just simply for existing. Are we owed for existing? No, we're told nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Yeah, you do. Society itself is a social contract. If you want everybody to fall in line under that social contract, then the rules need to be the same for everybody, not special rights for women. A woman doesn't get what she wants right when she wants it, your ass is going to prison. Her friends will fucking help. Her boyfriend on the side will help. Her suitors will help. Her friends' suitors and husbands and boyfriends will help. When a woman decides to stalk a man, it's not just a woman stalking him. It is always a group of people stalking him. Women have been taught the same way that we teach bullies and police officers. Oh, you did something wrong? Well, just gang up on the guy. If you gang up on him and talk over him and don't let him get a word in, you automatically win. This is not fucking okay. Now at this point, women have gone from dating only the top 20% of men, that was in the early 2000s, to the mid 20 teens, right? By then, women are only interested in the top 10% of men. Let's fast forward to today. American women are only interested in the top 3% of men. He's got to be at least 6 foot. He's got to have money. He's got to have looks. That'll put you in the top 3%. Women will tell you about all the qualities they want in a man and just leave out the fact that they want that in a rich man who's good looking and tall. Now we also get the women who complain that men can have sex with whatever they want, right? But then these women go out and have sex with whoever they want, and they say, oh, it's okay for men. Really? Because you bitch at all men about the 3% of men who don't fucking want you. That top 3% has more options than you will ever have in your lifetime because they're rich and good looking. The moral decline of the United States. Yeah, Johnny Depp was a coke addict. But he's good looking. Even in his old age, he's still pretty good looking for an old guy, isn't he? We've gotten to hear about Johnny Depp since 21 Jump Street. Every girl in America had a crush on him, didn't she? Of course, that's the way it was. How is it now? It's not any better, that's for sure. Sorry, I'm just setting up my car so that I can block out the windows so that I can urinate without somebody seeing my tinky winky. Brings up penis size, huh? See, when we tell a woman the first thing she resorts to is name-calling and slander. Claiming you're a homosexual, claiming you're into little boys, claiming that you wear girls' underwear. Basically, any lie will work. But she's going to pick from a list of things that we're supposed to socially care about. You won't date a woman? You won't leave your wife for a fat girl? She's going to get on the internet and talk about how you owe it to her to leave your wife and give a fat woman a chance. If that doesn't work, she'll accuse you of sexually harassing her at a work party. The whole, if I can't have you, nobody can, and I'll destroy your life mentality. Natalie Bollinger was the same way. She didn't get what she wanted. Her sister didn't get what she wanted. So what did they do? They slandered my name, resulting in a lot of harm, a lot of actual harm. They pretended like I might do something bad, and that magically gives everybody free reign to harm me whenever the fuck they choose. Now, out of everything that I've seen, Natalie Bollinger never once accused me of sexually assaulting her in any way, shape, or form. However, I've been treated like a super sicko perv who couldn't take no for an answer. And that's not fucking okay. So there's 97% of men who you believe owe you for fucking existing, but you don't owe them a goddamn thing. They owe you for existing. Really. You think you're all that in a bag of potato chips, do you? You're not shit. You want to change the rules over and over again. Whatever makes it beneficial for you. Whatever makes him look bad, right? Like, of course, the cops will blow him off when he tries to turn in the shit that you and your friends are doing. But then, of course, because he's trying to turn you in, now you and your friends step up your game and start playing fucking victim, and that's never fucking okay. And that's the problem with making an at-risk adult go in alone. Nobody wants to do their fucking job. People want to see every little bit of evidence before they're willing to do anything. Well, you know what? They didn't ask to see any evidence with Natalie. No, they just illegally prevented me from going to court. And that's magically fine after slandering my name on the internet, slandering my name on the news, making me a target to the American goddamn public for trying to get fucking help. Because I was actually being stalked. Natalie wasn't. I was actually having my life threatened. Natalie's life wasn't. People were actually assaulting me. Who actually assaulted Natalie? Her dad, Tim Beeson. By the way, although I am against killing, I got a list of people that if I see them in my lifetime, I will go to prison. I can 100% guarantee you that there are at least 5 individuals that are dangerous enough that if I was to see them in real life, especially here, I would have no choice but to end their existence. By not having a choice, I mean I don't have a choice. If any of those 5 people showed up in Tillamook, Oregon, I would know beyond any shadow of a doubt what they were up to. I know what kind of people they are. But you're all pieces of shit. You won't hear the victim. You guys fucked up big. You fucked up even bigger by getting involved and then trying to destroy evidence. On the bright side, No matter how hard you've tried, you haven't been able to destroy it all, have you? You fucking cowards and dumbasses. These men's rights sites want to be about dating, dating, dating. Most of us don't want you. You've been ran through. Most of you women have used your vaginas as a tool to get people to do stuff. How many times are you going to get ran through and then play victim? Miss Jerry, that's Jerry Sparks. She got ran through like a fucking train. Keeping on going back and forth between the same three guys. I helped her move 7 times. And she kept on going back to another guy that, well, for example, she needed help moving away from Andrew Buchter, so I helped her. Then Andrew Buchter moved up to Montana to live with her. Well, hold on a second. If he's this big, horrible whatever, why are you having him go to Montana? Then there's Ronald Reeder. This is another guy that she needed rescued from, that she went back to. I helped her move out of his house. And then I ended up helping her move in Montana from the place she was in to another place. When I helped her to move to that other place, I found out just shortly after that she moved to that other place because she was starting to date Ron Reeder again, and he was moving to Montana. Holy shit, she knows how to fucking pick them. And they took care of her, and they took care of her kids, and I helped. But she didn't get to use her vagina to manipulate me. I wouldn't let her. Amanda Engeline tried to use her vagina that way. Same thing with Lana Engeline. Thought, oh, well, you know, Sean is busy. He's got his own fucking life. But we've got stuff that we want done that we don't want to do. So we'll see if we can get Sean to do what we want by using the vagina. No. Jamie Curtis thought that too. Jamie Curtis didn't need to do any of that. I love Jamie and I love her son, and that's the way it is. It ain't got nothing to do with sex, and it never did. Well, with Jamie, she made it about sex. That's actually what ended up with me losing my best friend, and that's why when Natalie was my best friend, I was absolutely sidestepping every hint, anything that was sexual. Because here's the thing. Sex, just the thought of sex, boils your fucking brains. It makes you stupid. It prevents you from thinking straight. It gums up the works. And then you guys are constantly having this free love modern crap thrown in your face. You know what? Free love died in the 1960s. 1969, we got free love. By 1970, it was fucking dead. I get judged by a lot of people who claim to be Christians, and they want to say, oh, you can't judge me, only God can judge me. Oh, au contraire, mon frère. Jamie Curtis wanted to manipulate men. We call them suitors. These are the men who line up to do your bidding in the hopes of jumping into your vagina. Some of them, it's not the hopes of jumping into your vagina, it's the hopes of spending their life with you, but they know that hopping into that vagina is part of it. How many women are going to stay married to a man who doesn't have sex with them? And don't get me wrong, I have a sex drive too. I'm just not attracted to people. People gross me out. Now we get to see how the majority of those who are working in the service industry, by service I mean social services, hospitals, nurses, teachers. We've also gotten to see how many female predators there are that are getting busted every year having sex with their students. We get to see how many female nurses are being busted killing dozens and sometimes hundreds of patients. Is your child more likely to be killed by a serial killer nurse or more likely to be killed by a random stranger? Your chances of getting killed by a complete and total stranger are about 1 in 1,000 deaths. 1 in 1,000. Now we're talking about murder here, obviously, not somebody who got drunk, careened off the road, and smacked into you and your kids. We're talking about murders. You are not likely to get murdered by a stranger. You are most likely to be killed by, number 1, your mother. Number 2, your father. That's number 1 and number 2. As far as violent deaths go, parents account for 62%. 31% of the time it's the mother, 31% of the time it's the father. But that's 62%. I'm sorry if I said 61%. There's a lot of statistics that are right around 80 to 81%. Or between 81 and 82%. When you read a number that's like 81.129%, you just go, well, it's 81%. When you see a statistic that says it's 80.985, it's basically 81%. Those of you who didn't learn about rounding, well, I'm not going to go reading off every little decimal point. It's just not going to happen. Does that tiny fraction of a percent really make that much of a difference? No, not when it comes to the statistics of human beings and human cruelty. We get to see women who will allow a good-looking rich man to beat her and rape her and sexually abuse her, and she will go back to him over and over and over again. She will let him do things to her that are highly illegal, and then she'll bitch that you looked at her wrong in a goddamn McDonald's because you're a fucking hobo. All hobos are strangers, and we have to not associate with strangers because strangers are bad, okay? Because strangers will kill you. Strangers will rape you. Less than 1 in 1,000 rapes are committed by a stranger. Did you know that? 1 in 1,000. Same statistic for child molesters. Only 1 in 1,000 child molesters are a stranger to your child. 1 in 1,000. Well, you guys ignore everyday occurrences committed by parents because parents want to go, oh, I'm afraid of strangers. I remember being on Pearl Street. Woman, fat woman, pretty good looking husband was with her. And mind you, this happened more than once, but I'm going to tell you about one specific occasion because literally these parents had this little girl walking hand in hand with her, walking down the Pearl Street Mall, see me, a hobo, on the side of the fucking street, and as they're walking by, hand in hand with that little girl, wanted to point at me and say, and stay away from people like that. Those are the kind of people mommy and daddy warn you about. This woman doesn't know me. What's she going to warn her kids about? I didn't do drugs. Obviously, I'm not going to be selling her drugs. I'm not into fucking little kids. Obviously, I'm not going to be fucking her. What were those ladies trying to insinuate? I say ladies because the father took part in that too. Wanted to mean mug me as if I had raped his fucking dog in front of his entire family. Well, that's a pretty fucking sick way to stare at somebody you don't fucking know. Kind of like walking across the Safeway parking lot here in Tillamook, Oregon. Most of the time, I got people who mean mug me because I fucking exist. Now, of course, anytime a woman does something fucked up, the 97% of us that women look at as tools. This is your friend zone. We're not friends, we're tools. We're not their friends. You cannot be friends with a woman. You can't be. Women in this country have been taught that you are a fucking tool. If you are in the friend zone, then she has a use for you. Use. U-S-E. Use. 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 Both spelled exactly the same way. She's using you. You are a tool. She will pull you out of the friend zone and play with you a little bit when she needs you, the screwdriver, to unscrew something for her, and then you're going back in the fucking toolbox with the other fucking tools. And then she's going to get ran through by Chads and complain that all men are evil. All men are horrible. She doesn't understand why she can't find a good man. It's because you put them all in the goddamn toolbox. You took all the men who made you a priority and you set them on the back burner. And the guy who has options and can throw you away like you're fucking trash, that's the only one that you want. You have to have that one. You won't take no for an answer. You fiddle and meddle and maybe you get the guy that you want. Maybe you're able to convince him that his lifelong partner is a cheating, horrible wretch. Maybe he'll believe you, maybe he won't. A lot of married guys I know encounter problems that guys that I know who aren't married don't have. Married guys get hit on by women who want a long-term commitment, not a long-term relationship. A relationship means both parties are involved. But that's not what's happening in these situations. We've got women who want to walk into a ready-made situation. The house is already there, kids are already there, husband's already there, money's already there. You just got to figure out how to get that away from the other woman. Guys I know told me, hey, you know what? I've had women that came up to me and told me that my wife was cheating on me. Now, I knew these girls had a crush on me and that they were just trying to separate me from my wife. Some of them let it go, and letting it go is the wrong thing to do. When that happens, the first thing you need to do is tell your wife. Tell your wife. The first thing you do when you encounter a fucking nut job like that is you tell your wife. And the same thing if you're a wife. You need to tell your husband. Honesty is key. If you're married, like Brenda Dickinson and Dennis Dickinson, you don't have a real marriage. You don't have a lasting, actual friendship. Brenda Dickinson has to hide everything she does from her husband because she doesn't want to get bitched at. She doesn't want to hear her husband whine at her for fucking hours because she did something he doesn't fucking approve of. Now, if she was still single, she could do that, and it would be none of his fucking business. But they're married. And he has a right to know when she's spending their finances. There are things that he has the right to know as a husband. You know, there are husbands that went to prison when their wives were killed by somebody else just because those husbands didn't know where their wife was. But then again, a modern husband isn't allowed to ask his wife where she's going or he's being controlling. Most of the women that I know that ended up getting divorces, it's because the man that they were with allowed them to go out drinking with their friends and they went out and screwed around on him. And then she wants to say it's his fault for letting her go, or it's his fault because their sex life isn't that great. Well, you know what? It's not going to be that great when you're constantly fucking nagging at him. Once you've taken somebody else's ready made life and it's not quite what you want, you destroy it systematically. You've been ran through. There's a lot of women who, and this has always confused the shit out of me. I understand that when a guy helps you out of an abusive relationship, a lot of times you're looking for a rebound, or a lot of times sex is just a socially accepted payment for a man helping you. I'm grossed out by it. There's a lot of women that I helped out of fucked up situations that wanted to give me sex as a payment, and I wouldn't do it. And later on, they went back to the guy that they needed my help leaving. Oh, Sean, he's hitting me. I'm afraid he's going to hit my kids. You know the story. You know the routine. Every man has gone through this. You cannot be a man in the United States and not be expected by women to listen to their sob stories and try to fucking fix it. Well, men are sick of this shit. They're fed up. And most of us would rather masturbate to video games. A lot of women that I know are in shitty relationships and they blame video games. No. The video games are a symptom. They're not the problem. They're a symptom of the problem, and the problem is you. The problem is your constant nagging. You're never, ever, ever good enough. Nothing is ever good enough for you. If we give an inch, you take a mile. We give a mile, you take 10. We give you 10 miles, you want the whole fucking beach. I'm not going to promise you the moon. Lots of men will promise you the moon, though. And as soon as they do, you seem to think that they should promise you the sun as well. Lady, you've been ran through. 97% of men are not the 3% of men you're willing to date. You guys get to have birth control, which is great. Now you get to decide whether you get pregnant or not. Whether or not you man trap or baby trap a man is all up to whether or not you want to take your pills. If he's fed up with your shit, just stop taking your pills. You already know when a relationship is dying. And yeah, you try to spice it up with sex. You try to spice it up with arguments and make-up sex. Of course, that make-up sex is when she stopped taking her pills and poked a few holes in the condoms. But good luck, bud. Good luck. Once it started going south, and you've already said that you're leaving, and she's begged you to come back and then started arguments again, yeah, you can expect busted condoms and her not taking her fucking pills. A common saying when it comes to men and women. If you stay with her, it's going to be bad. But if you leave, it's going to be worse. Why is it going to be worse? Because she will make it worse. If a woman doesn't get what she wants right when she wants it, she's got plenty of tools at her disposal. See, while she wants to date the Chads, she keeps the tool zone open for a reason. For most of you, that whole sex thing does work, where they pretend that they'll have sex with you if you help them, or pretend to be interested in a relationship if you help them, or they try to give you the payment of sex for helping. That doesn't always work, though. Sometimes guys say no. And you'd be surprised how many women wanted to pay me with sex. Women who are not attracted to me, all right? Women who have said to me loud and clear that they're not attracted to me have tried to have sex with me for helping them out of shitty situations, and then treated me completely like shit when I wouldn't have sex with them. Like, hey, you already told me that you're not attracted to me. You just got out of an abusive relationship. I don't have the wherewithal to deal with the fucking baggage. I'll do my best to keep you safe. That's what I can do. I can help you to turn it in if that's what you want to do. But if you're not willing to turn in the son of a bitch, you're giving him an easy opportunity to harm others. And also, you're making it real hard for me to believe you. Kind of like it's real hard to believe a woman who claims that her children are being threatened when she has no proof of the threats and doesn't want to turn it in. People outright lied about me. I told the truth about them. There's many of the people who threw me away like trash, like Miss Peaches, for example. I said all the things that she did, good or bad. All the things that she told me that she would do, I also spoke up about those. I also recorded conversations with her that show that I told the truth about that. But she wasn't trying to help me how I needed. Just like everyone else, listening to me was not important. Talking over me and telling me what to do, what to think, and what to feel was. It wasn't until I literally had to flee the state of Colorado for my own safety from law enforcement that she almost started to fucking listen. There's a lot of people that are mad at me because I didn't just tell the truth. I recorded conversations that showed I was telling the truth, and I made them very public. I also repeated what the cops said. And all these people who didn't bother to try coming forward, didn't ever try to take it with me to turn it in, wanted to claim I was slandering their names for repeating what the cops said. Well, with all due respect, I told you what the cops were saying. I told you what they were gonna do. You didn't want to fucking listen. That's on you, not me. When the cops slandered our names, you didn't care. When I repeat what the cops said, and it sounds pretty logical, when I repeat what the cops said, then you want to call me a slanderer. That's what Miss Peaches, a.k.a. Kayla Trujillo, wanted to do. Oh, she's not happy with me. I posted up evidence that I told the truth about it. People don't want to fucking hear that. After somebody has called you a liar, and then you show them that, hey, not only did it actually happen, here's your words on the situation. At the time, Kayla Trujillo didn't abandon me for telling the truth, however. She abandoned me because her drug contact is one of my predators. His name is Blaine McCrelius. And as always, Miss Peaches didn't want to hear. She never wanted to hear it. She wanted to lie and bullshit and pretend to fucking care. But here's the thing. All these folks wanted to say they're too broke, too broke, too broke. So I pay my money so they're able to help. Like Kayla Trujillo, saying that she was too broke for gas. So I gave her the money for gas. And then I gave her more money for gas. She didn't want to hear what I was saying while she was driving, so she was going to pull over. But instead of pulling over, she just started yelling at me while driving for about 5 minutes before we pulled over at McDonald's. And I got to explain to her, hey, the way that you're fucking pissed off right now because I was talking while you were driving, you were busy doing something, you were also asking me questions. When you asked me those questions, I was trying to answer your questions. And you were getting angry with me because you were trying to drive. Well, don't ask me those questions while you're trying to drive. We should pull over. Like you did. So here, pulling over in the McDonald's parking lot at the mall here in Boulder. This is a good idea. Because she was able to pull over, I was able to explain that to her at least a little bit. I also explained to her that it's difficult to do anything when I'm constantly running around like a chicken with my head cut off, doing all of this stuff that costs me money because everybody's broke. Well, I don't need them to fucking spend $10 million on me. What I need them to do is fucking speak up now when it makes a goddamn difference. Miss Trujillo claimed that she understood. Her baby daddy, and her brother all later on became my predators. Kayla Trujillo, her brother, his name is Gilbert Ortega, and her baby daddy, his name is Raja. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. They were all involved in the Natalie situation before Natalie's death. All of them. Kayla and her brother and Raja had all been involved in the situation over a year before she was killed. They were some of the first people that I spoke with about the situation when I returned to Boulder, because I didn't get to stay in Boulder very long. I did get to go explain to Kayla Trujillo when she finally set up a time for me to go over there and see her. But instead of me getting to see her and get some help, it ended up me being the idiot going out and panhandling so that they had food in the house for them and their kids. Like I said, I give up everything for people's kids, and they can't even tell the truth. Why is it that all these people trusted me with their kids even after Natalie was killed? Even after Natalie was killed, Jamie trusted me with Zyler. Even after Natalie was killed, Amy trusted me with her kids. That'd be Amy Witcher. Even after the situation with Natalie, Rand Ingersoll trusted me with her sons. She only had me watch them twice, and not for very long, but I watched them. I used to watch a lot of people's kids. I helped to raise Miss Jerry's kids. That'd be Donnie Sparks and Tyler and Jenny Frericks. I taught Miss Jerry how to draw portraits. She's actually better than me now. And she taught her daughter. Her daughter's better than me now, too. That's right, Jenny is a better artist than I am. She is a better portrait artist than Sean Schwartz. And yes, I freely admit it. Proud of that fact. I'm proud of the fact that I helped to raise those kids. I'm saddened by the fact that, well, the moral boundaries that their mothers set were not that high. Tyler is my favorite out of all of them just because he's funny. He's also racist. He's also selfish. But he is funny. And he is a giving person. You can be both giving and selfish. I understand people choosing their families over me. I understand it completely. However, it doesn't fit with my sense of morality. If my little brother is molesting his daughter, I am not on my little brother's side, which is why Michael Allen Albert, the child molester, is on my shit list. If I saw him in Tillamook, Oregon, though, I wouldn't be afraid of Michael. Michael couldn't beat his way out of a wet paper sack if you gave him a fucking baseball bat. My little brother is probably the weakest fighter I have ever had the displeasure of having to mop up the floor with. It's no wonder my little brother Michael perpetrates against women and children. I stand up to grown-ass men. Michael is the tallest out of all of us. Then Eric, then me, then Tara's the shortest, of course. Tara and Michael, of all of us, Tara and Michael are the ones who shouldn't have had kids. Me and Eric both should have had kids. He and I both would have made excellent parents. But because Eric never actually became a parent, he never got out of that mentality. He still thinks he's a badass teenager. Meanwhile, what's all this got to do with women being ran through? You know what? All those tools in your toolbox, they get sick of waiting. They get sick of being treated like a yo-yo. A tool on a string. As soon as the tool starts trotting off a little bit, that's when you pull the string a little bit. Pull on his heartstrings. Oh, my kids. Or, oh, I always liked you. You're so much different than the other guys. Oh, you say that to all the boys, don't you? The thing is, when you've been run through by all them tools in your toolbox and they're gone, they're gone. You took all the people who were loyal and honorable, and you showed them that there is no reward for being honorable and no reward for being loyal. The guy that she's going to throw herself at, like a $2 hooker, has options because he's got lots of little $2 hookers throwing themselves at him. He's got the gold diggers going after him. He's got the ones that are into a dreamy face going after him. And we get to see how, of course, the internet has given women the impression that they're all going to get to date the Chads. These are the guys that all men are treated like shit over. Meanwhile, none of us chose for these women to date these assholes. In many cases, we warn these women, and then we get treated like we're a predator who's just after her vagina when we say, hey, James is beating up 3 other women that I know. Oh, you're just jealous. You're just jealous. James told me you were going to say that. He told me. Fuck, I'll give you the names and the numbers of the women that he beat on, and you can ask them. There's also a lot of women that didn't get what they wanted right when they wanted it and wanted to change the story after the fact. When Miss Jerry needed rescued in Alliance, Nebraska, because her boyfriend, Ronald Reeder, apparently threw a bottle and it barely missed her head. He threw it hard and it barely missed her head, and she was afraid for her and the kids. And I spent all the money that I had, and multiple people put their money together so that she could rent a U-Haul and move. Where did she move to? Montana. Then when she decided in Montana that she was leaving, not Ronald Reagan, Andrew Buchter again. She was leaving Andrew Buchter and going back to Ron Reeder, and Ron Reeder was moving up to Montana to live with her, and she needed help moving at, what she told me was she needed help moving out of Andrew Buchter's. The reality is it was still her place. Andrew Bookter was basically staying there and taking care of her kids while she had a boyfriend, Ron Reeder, and she was keeping him a secret. And of course, her story had to change, because then it was, oh, he didn't throw a bottle at me. It was an empty plastic Coke bottle, and he just talks with his hands a lot, and he accidentally hit the bottle, and, he wasn't trying to hurt anybody. Lana threw it out of proportion. It was Lana who made it out of proportion. Lana who wanted me to say that Ron was trying to kill me with a bottle. Fuck. Yeah, Miss Jerry's been ran through. And like most women, when she's alone and afraid that she can't do it by herself, she's going to go back to familiarity. Just like Natalie Bollinger went back to familiarity. She went back to the same people, the same drugs, the same lifestyle. I was the one part of her life that wasn't that lifestyle. Her parents were that lifestyle. Her sister was that lifestyle. Tim Beeson was that lifestyle. And then you project that lifestyle onto me. Because I'm easy to blame, because I'm homeless, because you can call me mentally ill and nobody's going to listen to me. Because I have a penis, so I must be to blame. Well, with all due respect, I'm not the one who's been ran through. I'm not the one with a ginormous toolbox. I'm not the one who calls it the friend zone. There are lots of loyal and honorable men in your life. And the more you reward the worst men in the country, the more those men learn not to be loyal. Learn not to be honorable. The more they learn that you can't be honest with a woman, because she will never be honest with you. If you've got an honest woman in your life, well, you probably haven't hit tough times yet. And you're probably such an idiot that you believe whatever you're told because you want to believe it. You want to believe that she likes you for you, not that she's using you because she's homeless, because she can't keep her legs shut. Men, stop dating women when they're fed up with a woman's shit. Women, stop dating men when they have another one lined up. A better option. See, Miss Jerry, literally, out of every time that I helped her to move, not once, out of all of those occasions, was she ever single. When she left Andrew Bookter, she was dating Ron Reeder within a day, within 24 hours. Kim Jepsen, when she broke up with Owen Johnson, got a new boyfriend pretty much immediately. You should have seen her. She was going crazy not having a boyfriend, and that was back in high school. Kim Jepsen is dependent upon men. She's dependent upon validation from men. Someone from Scotland calling herself Darlin Delights typed hello again. Hello, Darlin Delights. You speaking up, or are you just here to type hello again? You seem to get on here and mostly just type hello. So that flag that you keep popping up next to your name, that's the Scottish flag, right? You're a Caledonian? Anyway, there's lots of stupidity going on right now. All these women who want special rights and want to say they did it all themselves, still expect men to give up everything for them. There are lesbian man-haters that I know that still have a toolbox. Darlin Delights type, hey, yeah, I'm Scottish. I notice you're a cooking channel. I also noticed there's no haggis on your channel. There's about a 60-second delay between when I say something and when I get to see you typing about it. I do want to show you something about me. I'm different. Different is not acceptable in this country. I have Tourette syndrome, so I have to not do this. Darlin Delights type, yes, haggis pie is there. Okay. I'm pretty sure I typed haggis wrong. I read a book about haggis, and it was talking about Haggess, and that's Haggis, so I definitely spelled it wrong. Darlin Delights typed self-taught cook. See, that's self-improvement right there. One of the things that I talk about in the modern world is how many women complain that men expect them to cook. First of all, most of us don't. We live in the modern world. We're tired of listening to people bitching about cooking. We'll cook ourselves. No problem. We'll teach ourselves how to cook. The problem is most of these modern women don't know how to cook, but are still complaining that we expect them to cook. No, if we expected you to cook, you would cook. See, that's the thing, is that a lot of women here in the United States especially want a ready-made package as soon as they turn 18. They want everything there already. They don't want to work for it. They don't want to work with someone else. They're not going to take the pauper and turn him into a prince. They're just going to expect every man in America to treat them like they're a princess. Well, with all due respect, there's a reason we're not part of jolly old England anymore. We don't have any goddamn princesses in the United States. You can take Kate. Darlin Delights type butcher to trade. I used to make it. Yes, that's correct. A lot of takeaways. As a kid, we learned how to cook. 10 in the family. Absolutely. Yeah, I had a small family, but it's large for modern America. I had 3 siblings, so 4 of us overall. Modern America, we got lots of birth control and lots of abortions, so we can have smaller families now. As far as cooking goes, most of the guys I know can cook. Most of the guys I know do the primary cooking in the household. Most of the guys I know are the primary diaper changers too. There's a lot of women I know who have babies but can't change a diaper because it makes them gag. Meanwhile, I know fathers who will literally be changing a diaper while vomiting into the diaper bag or into the bin next to the changing table. But they're still going to get the fucking job done. Modern women are complaining about things that have not been true for over 100 years, or things that they don't know how to fucking do. A lot of women will stand on the side of the road waiting on a man to come change their tire because they don't fucking know how. No disrespect or anything, but if you cannot change a fucking tire, you should not have a driver's license. Let's see. Darlin Delight types, X-Forces turn my hand to anything. Correct. So one of the things that we're fighting real heavy is that we've taught a lot of women to expect things, and also that all men have expectations of them. and that all women are expected to hold up these expectations. No, we don't expect all women to cook for us the way that women expect all men to protect them. Most of the women that I know have gotten themselves into really fucked up situations, wanted to blame all men for it, but went to men for help stopping the situation. When Natalie Bollinger's drug use and abuse and the ignorance with her family because she chose not to tell the truth, when that resulted in me being harmed by her predators, you damn right I went to the cops. You damn right I went to my friends. Darlin Delights typed, in the house, share the duties. Yes, exactly. Here's how it was in my mom's house growing up. Not that I spent much time there. If you did the cooking, you did not have to wash the dishes. Plain and simple. Who is it that washed dishes the most? Me. I love washing dishes. Who is it that cooked dinner the most? Me. Because everybody else would just cook for themselves. There were no shared duties. It was either Sean does it for everybody, or everybody in the house will only do for themselves. Tara would only cook for Tara. Michael would only cook for Michael. Eric would only cook for Eric. Most of them only knew how to cook using the microwave, and of course my mother burned water. So what options did we have? When I left my mother's house at 16 years old, my mother was too busy doing cocaine to buy food for my siblings, so I had to sneak food into my mom's house. My brother was clueless, my sister wasn't. My sister busted me sneaking food over to the house twice. One of those times, because I wasn't going to go in the house, I snuck over to the house and I put the bag of groceries on the porch and I started walking away. My little sister started yelling at me, "Sean! Sean!" I heard her, but I kept walking. She said, "Sean, I need a hug." I turned back around and she said, "You left your stuff here." I said, "That's not my stuff." I was just looking to see what was in there. And that was legit too, because I did buy myself something and I wanted to make sure I pulled it out and put it in my pocket, but I'd already pulled it out and put it in my pocket. My little sister, she wanted to talk to me for a couple of minutes, but of course we had to do so off the property. So I was off the property and she was on the property, and that's when my stepdad showed up, got out of his fucking pickup truck and started screaming at me. But I made sure, even though I was living at Brenda and Dennis Dickinson's at the time, and I was only working a few hours a night, going to high school, trying to finish high school. I was going to work with Janet Roberts, that's Jamie's grandmother. And I was busting my ass to make sure that my siblings had food, because I knew that my mom was just putting it up her nose. Multiple times after that, when my little brother Michael got in trouble, my mom wanted to blame it on me. I was bullied into pleading guilty to buying cigarettes for my little brother when I didn't buy any cigarettes for my little brother. He got them from Jeff Luchterhuis, but Jeff Luchterhuis was my mom's coke dealer, so yeah, he wasn't going to get in any trouble. My little brother's the golden child. He wasn't going to get in any trouble. Darling Delights type drugs is everywhere, but not much getting done about it. Darling Delights type, did you hear about the aliens from Peru? I don't care about aliens from Peru. I've been hearing about aliens all over the place. Let's see, Darling Delights type, I'm into UFO and aliens, Bigfoot. This is Tillamook, Oregon. This is like the home of Bigfoot sightings. This is where people are really super into Bigfoot. I'm not into Bigfoot or aliens. I live on planet Earth. And as much as I would do my best to protect a Bigfoot if I saw one in the wild, I've never seen a Bigfoot, never seen any verification of a Bigfoot. There's not much I can do about Bigfoots, but there is something I can do about child trafficking, sexual assaults, sexual abuse, abuse against at-risk and disabled adults. That's all stuff I can do something about. A lot of people I have to basically siphon through all... English, please. Sorry, I don't have any teeth. I have to basically go through a whole bunch of people to find the ones that are into the Illuminati so I can get rid of them. Find the ones that are into alien conspiracies and get rid of them. Any of the ones who want to claim that it's some crazy fucking rocket spaceship stuff that happened to Natalie, you know, basically that goes to the realm of tinfoil hats, and I'm not fucking listening. No offense. Now, it's one thing to have an interest in those things. Like, I like the Loch Ness Monster. I think that's pretty cool. I like the idea of Bigfoot. I like the idea of aliens, but I have real-world problems, and Bigfoot, aliens, and the Illuminati are not my real-world problems. My real-world problems, well, you typed them just a few minutes ago. You typed drugs is everywhere, but not much getting done about it. You're right. You're absolutely right. Darlin Delights type, that's not true, Loch Ness. There's no Loch Ness Monster? Maybe there's no Nessie, but there's plenty of monsters around Loch Ness. Most of them are humans carrying cameras trying to scam someone. Dark Lights typed tourism. Very much so. Just so you know, I've seen some massive footprints up there in the mountains. Now, why don't those massive footprints make me believe in Bigfoot? Because they weren't Bigfoot type prints. They were very specifically the prints of a brown bear. A very large brown bear. And it looks to me like it trounced around through the mountains up there for about 2 weeks or so, because there's a lot of foot traffic through, but it also seems to me that the bear is long gone. Hasn't been there in a month or two. I say that because of some of the stuff that's growing in the paw prints, but they are for surely the paw prints of a large brown bear. We'll chalk it up to tourism, I guess. What we're dealing with right now is a lot of women who feel entitled and think everything is owed to them, that women should not be assigned to gender roles, but that men should be assigned to both male and female gender roles. Men should do the protecting of women and children, but men also need to do the cooking and the cleaning and the changing of the diapers and going to work every day, being the breadwinners. We've also gotten to see how when a woman becomes a breadwinner, how she is 10 times more likely to be an abusive partner in that situation. We're talking about verbally abusive daily, calling, demasculating, telling him he's not a real man. Darlin Delights brought up a good point here. She typed, yes, but some guys can be real bastards to their women. You're right. And if we treat women the same way that we treat men, what do we tell men? It's your fault for being there. See, here's the thing. I've known women who don't put on makeup. They just put their hair in a ponytail, dress up in shorts, and hang out with their friends. Those women are not likely to get raped or molested in the same way as a woman who dresses up like a Catholic schoolgirl to go to the bar and get drunk with a bunch of makeup all over her face, her hair done up to the nines. I mean, really, what she's advertising is for a pedophile. So what is she going to attract? She's going to attract a pedophile. Darling Delights type cowards who hit women. You're right. Nasty bastards. And I noticed you corrected the word to bastards. Thank you for doing that. Wasn't necessary, though. I think we all knew what you meant. We've also got a lot of women, while men are taught that it is our job to protect women and children, what ends up happening is that girls are taught that they're allowed to hit a boy. They're allowed to hit a boy once without him retaliating. This is why lesbian relationships get so complicated and why they are, bar none, the most violent relationships in America. When you've got two women who have been taught it's not okay to hit them, but it is okay for them to hit the other person, and some of these women thinks it resets every 30 seconds. So you end up with two women who have been taught that it's okay to hit your partner, but it's not okay for your partner to hit you back. No, that doesn't go well. Many of the women that I know will pretend that a man hit her when he doesn't give her what she wants. And that makes it real tough for all of us, because there are a lot of women out there who are actually being abused by their husbands, by their spouses, who are being ignored because we've busted so many women outright lying. It's hard to believe a woman anymore. We've got so many women on TikTok and YouTube doing these things blatantly and bragging about it that we've had to literally throw away all of the statistics that we had on women and start fresh. Turns out 90% of the accusations from women against men on Facebook, 90% of them, those women brag about it being bullshit. 90% of them brag about breaking the law to destroy another man's life. That means only 10% are likely true. Only 10% of accusations from those women, only 10% of them have the possibility of being true. The other 90% have been debunked and defunct. Yes, we need to do something about cowards who hit women. We also need to do something about cowards who hit men. We also need to do something about cowards who lie to men in order to get men to do their bidding. When you pretend that your ex might touch your kids because he wants a divorce and he wants custody of the kids, how easy is it for you to go claim that he hit you and get some help, especially in the UK? You women in the UK are more pampered than American women. You can't get into housing. It's a pain in the ass, I know. But the moment you say a man hit you, you get everything handed to you. Darling Delights typed, Sound of Freedom will be good film to watch. If you've not heard of it, later look it up. I've heard of it. I'm living the reality of it here in the United States. We are the largest human traffickers on the planet, bar none. We have more incarcerated peoples in the United States than any other first world, second world, or third world country. We have the largest percentage of our population incarcerated. No other country has such a large percentage of their population locked up for trivial crimes. 81% of those nationwide who are locked up in this country were homeless when they were arrested. Let's see. Darling Delights type, yeah, they say that here. A lot of grooming gangs. Yes, absolutely. Groomers are horrible. But there's also female groomers. And I'm not talking about like female teachers who are molesting kids. We've got, 17 now this year? 17 female teachers in the United States got busted actually having sex with students. We've got an additional 3 that it's not considered rape because they molested girls, so that's 20. And so far we've got 4 male teachers, only one of whom was actually having sex with a student. Those women will serve an average of 8 months. Those men who didn't have sex with a student will serve an average of 16 years. That one male teacher who had sex with a student will serve an average of 40 years. Darling Delights type priests have been found out a lot. You're right. And we also get to see how it's not just priests. Priests denotes Catholicism. And as we know, most Protestants hate Catholics. There's this belief among Protestants that Catholics are all the Antichrist for some reason. But we get to see how even Christian preachers in this town and in multiple other towns, when I came to them about the abuse, they didn't care. There has not been sanctuary in a church in the United States since the 1970s. The 1970s was the last time that a church was allowed to give sanctuary in the United States. Did you know that? So the preachers here that I told about it and tried to get help with, they were so nonchalant, blew me off, same as always. They do exactly the same things to us that they do when a child is molested. You also get to see when child abuse happens, I don't care if you're my best friend, I'm going to speak up. With Amy Witcher, she's a relative. When she told me that her daughter was saying Andrew Witcher molested her, I believe her daughter. I tried to turn it in immediately. Not that it matters. See, here's the thing. No matter how much I do the right thing, I'm still a male, I'm still homeless, and they can still call me mentally ill and pretend I made everything up. Which is where I have to depend on people like you to look at the evidence and actually speak up, actually share it. Now, Darling Delights, the fact that you're on my channel typing at me, but you have a cooking channel, it's kind of strange. Most of the people that get a hold of me, they have gore channels. They're infatuated with death. They're infatuated with true crime. And you're into cooking food. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because modern American women will somehow make it out to be you giving in to the misogynistic society of Scotland because you learned how to cook. How dare you destroy women's chances by learning how to cook? How dare you join the misogynists in destroying women's lives by learning how to take care of yourself? By the way, I want to thank you for being an example of what to do. Cooking is a survival skill, and obviously you like good food. So you don't want to have just survival food. I live on survival food because I live in a vehicle. However, I'm a hell of a good cook. When I've got my own place, I can conserve money by cooking myself. I can eat better and I can eat more. I can make $100 stretch for 6 people for a month, as long as I got a place to cook. Out here on the streets, $100 will last about 2 weeks for one person, as long as they don't eat very much. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. Darling Delights type, okay, Sean, need to go cook something at 6 p.m. I watch assorted of channels. That's how we learn. Yes, being in a van, you're free. Well, I'm not in a van. I'm in a Honda Civic. And that's A lot of the idea that people have is that, well, if you've got this or you've got that, then everything is magically better. There's a lot of people out here on the streets who have taken advantage of me, taken advantage of my kindness, and taken advantage of my situation, that later on when they say, oh, well, you have a car. That doesn't justify a person stealing from me. That doesn't justify a person taking my money for goods and services that I did not receive. That doesn't justify people pissing on my vehicle or vandalizing the area when I tell them no. But like you typed earlier, drugs is everywhere. Not much being done about it. Have fun cooking. Whatever it is you cook, I hope you get back onto my channel and let me know what you cooked. And let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 whether or not you think you did an excellent job, a good job, or okay, or whether it completely and totally flopped. Just because I am interested in cooking. It's also interesting to know what other people are trying and what they call it. Anyway, Miss Darling Delights, the thing that I need help with is stopping abuse against men. Systemic abuse against men. All men are not responsible for who women say yes to. Here in the United States, a man has to be afraid to approach a woman or even look her direction. When I'm walking down the street or walking through a grocery store, if I meet eyes with a man, we usually nod at each other. If I meet eyes with a woman, well, I usually make sure that I look another direction. I'm not interested in looking in a woman's direction if it'll get me treated like I'm a pervert, a rapist, or a child molester. I don't want to see kids. I don't want to see women. Not out of any hatred or disrespect towards women, but out of fear, because women in the United States have not been taught to be human beings towards others. They've been taught to be vermicious animals that should not be expected to wipe their own ass. There is a big difference between misogyny and wiping your own ass. You complaining that men expect you to cook for them when you don't even cook for yourself kind of defeats the purpose of bitching, doesn't it? Darling Delights type just basic bratwurst and chips. Okay, so it's an easy meal. You can still burn bratwurst, but I'm going to give you a secret. And my secret is this. Bratwurst always tastes better. Always tastes better when you get just a little bit of burntness on each side. Whether or not people agree with me doesn't make any difference. Once you've got it slightly burnt on each side, it changes the texture, it changes the flavor, it gives it more of a firmness, and it gives it kind of a crispiness on the outside, just barely, just enough that it's there. Whereas otherwise, it just seems too mushy to me. Anyway, Darling Delights, thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for joining the conversation. And the points that you made were absolutely valid. You didn't type a bunch of stupid ignorance at me. I want to thank you for not coming on here and making it about my penis size, about misogyny, about mansplaining. I want to thank you for getting on here and having a human experience with me. Darling Delights type with ketchup and put some curry into it. Oh, Indian food. Yes. Here in America, people do not have enough love for Indian food. As far as curry goes, chopped bratwurst in curry. All right, that is magnifique. Of course, I also like spicy stuff, and I have been told that in Britain, y'all don't eat spicy curry. A different curry. I don't know, because I'm not in the UK, and that's why I ask. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. It's good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. You're also your sister's keeper. That doesn't mean be stupid. Darling Delights type cool bro, see you soon. Spent 6 years in Germany. Ah, well, I don't speak much German, but maybe I'll learn some so that I can chat with you.